Hey, Kyle's Wonderful here again with another wrestling review. This time it's NJPW Night 2 from July 17th, 2022. And it just finished a few moments ago. I stuck around to make sure we got all the backstage segments. And if you are interested in the backstage comments where you don't want to read the um, subtitles, then you come to the right place. I also put out videos every day for G1 where it's the backstage comments. I don't act it out completely like a cornball, but I put a little bit of emphasis and try and read it like they would be saying it. So if you're interested, I also redo those, and I also will be here every night when G1 ends, right after it ends, for the review. So hope to see you guys around. Give me that subscribe if you like what you see. Last night was a pretty good night. We saw Okada winning the main event in a really good match against Jeff Cobb. I would say I might, no, spoiler alert, I might like that match a little bit better than anything we saw tonight, but tonight's main event was really good as well. So let's just get into it. Like I said, you can check out the backstage comments. That's where a lot of the storylines and whatnot are going to come from. So we can kind of piece everything together. So I've got the reviews and separate videos for the backstage comments to guide us through these G1 for the next month. So this is night 2 of 20. And Team Filthy's out first, and that is Royce Isaacs and Tom Lawler. We got to see Tom Lawler's Japanese debut last night against Young Lion. No Young Lions on this event tonight, but it was good to see Oiwa and Fujita, who Lawler beat last night. So we saw that Royce Isaacs, who I've known for a long time from not only Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, but Rocky Mountain Pro as well. So shout out Royce Isaacs. He is a veteran of Japan. He's been here many times, just not with New Japan Pro Wrestling. So this is going to be his debut match, I think, in Japan for New Japan Pro Wrestling, but maybe not. He's been on New Japan Strong as part of Team Filthy for a while now. So poor David Finlay doesn't get his own music yet again. He has to come out with YOSHI-HASHI to YOSHI-HASHI's music, and they are in the same block. So that's going to be interesting to see them tag here. David Finlay and YOSHI-HASHI are. So Tom Lawler, who's part of the big Monster A group. Probably Tom Lawler is the smallest in the A block, all the big monsters, but Tom Lawler does come in with a legitimate MMA background and is a bad man. So he's calls himself the little monster of A block. So Tom and YOSHI-HASHI start the match. Tom does his little dance and takes his short Daisy Dukes off to reveal shorter Daisy Dukes. Second day in a row I've seen it, and I still laughed as much today as I did yesterday. Pretty funny gimmick. So, because you're already thinking, man, this guy's wearing some short, tight little Daisy Dukes. And then he pulls them off to reveal shorter, tighter Daisy Dukes, just in case you were already offended. So, which is funny. They both tag out pretty much immediately, and Royce Isaacs and David Finlay come in. Isaacs hits a nice Death Valley driver, but Finlay gets back up, hits a running forearm. Tom grabs Finlay's leg, and Isaacs hits Finlay off the apron. Tom now tags in and slows the pace down, wearing out Finlay with his ground and pound and style that he has from MMA. Quick tags now keep Finlay isolated in their corner, the Team Filthy corner. Lawler applies a deep rear naked, and Finlay's eventually gets out with a backbreaker, but the damage was definitely done to Finlay, so he tags out. So does Tom Lawler. YOSHI-HASHI and Royce Isaacs in now with a striking exchange. YOSHI-HASHI gets the better of Isaacs, but then Finlay tags in from behind. Lawler throws YOSHI-HASHI out of the ring, and then they brawl. They're brawling to the outside while Finlay blocks a vertical suplex and then hits a springboard stunner that looked great. Immediately after, David Finlay hits the Trash Panda Ushigoroshi neckbreaker for the 1-2-3. The winners by pinfall are David Finlay and YOSHI-HASHI. Decent little match here, not very long. Cool to see Royce Isaacs in the New Japan ring. Tom Lawler, I can't wait for his G1 to start against all these monsters. He's going to be one to watch. He's got one of his finishers that isn't, he can make you tap out many ways, but one we saw last night against Fujita, we got to see Tom Lawler's striking finisher, which is called the nasty knee to the brain. That's the entire name of the move, and it describes it perfectly. So the announcers put over last night that the smaller Tom Lawler could definitely slay some giants with that nasty knee to the brain, let alone all the tapping out that he might be able to produce. So look for Tom Lawler to definitely give it a good run in this G1. I don't think he's not going to lose 6 or 5 matches. He'll at least be there. I think three losses I would think is the most out of the 6 matches I could see from Tom Lawler. Probably the first ever and long time running New Japan Strong, which is the promotion that New Japan has over here in the United States, over in Los Angeles. They've got Shibata training people at the LA dojo, and then they all have their weekly shows. So as soon as I wasn't able to get to it since this G1 tonight started a little bit earlier than I had expected. So I was not able to watch New Japan Strong from this week. It comes out every Saturday. So as soon as I finish this, I'll be watching New Japan Strong, and I'll let you know what happens. We've got this second half of the first round for the tournament to crown the first ever New Japan Strong tag champs. And like I was saying, Tom Lawler was the first ever New Japan Strong open weight. I think it's open weight, but it might be heavyweight. But anyway, Tom Lawler just recently lost that to the formerly known as Darren Young, now known as his real name, Fred Rozier, who won a really great match a few weeks ago on New Japan Strong. So I was thinking maybe Tom Lawler would come into these events carrying around the New Japan Strong title to kind of put him over as here's the champion from America. He's in G1 to show what he's got. But no, we did not get that. Tom Lawler leaves the title in America as he goes on his trip through G1. So I'm excited to see him. YOSHI-HASHI is mad. So at a point there, I think I forgot to tell you, but YOSHI-HASHI was getting the better of Isaacs, but Finlay tagged in from behind. So now YOSHI-HASHI is all mad at Finlay after the match. They will meet in a G1 match later on in this tournament, where probably both of them will be at must-win scenarios, if not already eliminated. So that'll probably end up being a pretty pivotal match that'll eliminate one of either David Finlay or YOSHI-HASHI later on in G1. So it's time for our second match, and it's going to be Suzuki-gun, Lance Archer, and TAKA Michinoku, who got leveled by Juice Robinson left punch last night. And they're going to take on Bullet Club, which is going to be Bad Luck Fale and El Phantasmo. Bad Luck Fale's music hits, and him and El Phantasmo come out. No rest for ELP after that nasty hidden blade and a grueling loss last night to Will Ospreay in the G1. So ELP might find himself in the path of Lance Archer tonight, only less than 24 hours since this event started earlier than last night's. TAKA comes out with Lance Archer. Archer and Fale battle each other in the first match of A block for both of them. So we set this up last night as well as tonight. I think that one's on Wednesday, but I'm not quite sure. It might be a little bit longer. So they brawled, and Wednesday is the next night of G1, by the way, where the main event will be Naito versus Goto. It's going to be a good one. So they brawled all match long. Archer and Fale did last night all the way to the back. So I'm sure we'll see stuff like that again. ELP tells Fale not to worry. Archer is fake tall, whatever that means, but it was pretty funny. Everyone tells each other to shut up. Even TAKA catches a stray at this point, and I didn't even hear him say anything. So TAKA and ELP will start the match, but soon just tag in the big men who charge at each other, but both just stop and then walk around. Archer wants his test of strength, so Fale obliges. The crowd's loving this. It ends up being a stalemate, but it definitely drained the stamina of Fale a lot more than Archer. They attack the smaller guys now, each one of them, and start a brawl on the outside. Fale quickly destroys TAKA Michinoku and comes over to help El Phantasmo. So they double team Archer, but the referee's count was up to 17 out of 20. If it gets to 20, you're counted out. So back in the ring, ELP tags in now, and Archer blocks 2 suplexes. I don't know what ELP was thinking there, trying to suplex a guy maybe 3 times the weight of his own. But TAKA then tags in after that. ELP feints going for this was important because ELP fainted going for a third suplex, but turns it into a back rake, which was pretty funny. So TAKA Michinoku tags in now, and Archer goes to slam TAKA onto ELP, but El Phantasmo is able to dodge it. TAKA gets mad about this, so Archer hits some strikes on ELP. TAKA pushes the ref to distract while Archer takes more cheap shots. Could have been a disqualification there, though. ELP then hits a back rake on Taka, and Fale tags in and hits a back rake of his own, and then a scoop slam on the Taka. So Taka is Fale stands on Taka's back, and ELP gets on the shoulder of Fale. That was a pretty cool move. The referee forces them to stop. ELP then tags in and quickens the pace up. Both ELP and Taka then go down. Fale comes in, the drag ELP to this corner, but Lance Archer comes in and they have a tug of war over the body of ELP. Archer then hits a kicks to Fale in the corner and lariats to both men, both being ELP and Fale. Fale then counters one of these lariats, and Taka hits a knee and a kick for a 2 count on ELP. ELP blocks the Michinoku driver and hits Taka Michinoku with the Michinoku driver himself, which is got to be infuriating. So Taka kicks out of this and hits a kick, but then all of a sudden, the sudden death super kick from ELP, who gets the 1, 2, 3. So your winners of the match by pinfall are Bullet Club. Somehow Archer and Fale didn't brawl to the back yet, and they will fight in the next event, which is Wednesday. Where I already said Goto and Naito will be in that night's main event. So Fale and Archer, instead of brawling to the back, stare each other down and then just leave. ELP is selling his back even when he's clowning around at the end. So good stuff. Either that or he's just really sore for real, which might be the case. But we'll never know, which is the beauty of pro wrestling. We have no idea the real amount of pain or the pain tolerance of each individual person. So it's a constant guessing game of, is that really hurt? Is he really hurt? Was that, you know what I mean? So that's the beauty of pro wrestling. So our third match is going to be an 8-man tag. We've got all of United Empire together: Aaron Henare, Great-O-Khan, Jeff Cobb, and Will Ospreay. And I say all, there's more members than that, but I mean all 4 that are in G1, and they're going to take on all 4 members of House of Torture. So we got a pretty good 8-man tag here. So that's going to be Dick Togo, Evil, Sho, and Yujiro. Evil's music hits as House of Torture comes out. Dick Togo joining them. It was just the 3 of them last night. So they bring in Dick Togo here. 2 of the 4 Kind Time members. I'm here watching wrestling in 2022 with one of the announcers they had back in WWF in the day, Kevin Kelly. So what a wild wrestling world it is. That was all the way back in like 98. So I always like the Evil introduction where he smirks at the face and the shaky camera. That was pretty. I always pop for that. So I'm excited for this one because of the fact that we get to see all 4 United Empire members that are in G1 this year. They hold up the crown hand sign, and then Great-O-Khan leads them to the ring. Ospreay flanking the group, cocky as ever after his big win last night over ELP. Henare also got a big win last night over Tanahashi, but Jeff Cobb lost in the main event to Okada. So not a perfect night, but it's still a good night for United Empire as a whole. Great-O-Khan doesn't even start his G1 until 9 more days from now against Chase Owens, of all people. Still kind of weird to me that Chase Owens is involved in G1. But anyway, we get a hot House of Torture jump United Empire before the bell even rings. Of course, a giant brawl that ensues, which of course House of Torture wins, like always. Back in the ring now, Yujiro takes control over Ospreay, who got caught with that sneak attack. Ospreay has 11 days now after his last win. He beat ELP last night, so he's got 2 points in the bank and 11 days until his second match. Togo then helps Yujiro with an abdominal stretch to help him like from the outside, but Ospreay turns it around and Togo isn't looking and helps Ospreay on accident. I like that. That was pretty funny. So Ospreay comes off of this with one of those explosive big nasty boots to Yujiro and then tags in Great-O-Khan. Ospreay hit one of those last night as well. It's just so fast. Looks amazing. So Ospreay's holding on to Yujiro, which I don't know, prevented the Mongolian chops from Great-O-Khan to not really hit very well, but they looked good once Ospreay let go. Togo now runs in, but Okan just sends him packing. Yujiro takes advantage of this, and another big brawl ensues. So back in the ring now, Yujiro's in control over Okan. Sho now tags in, but Okan fires up with some big strikes. Togo in the distract, and they hit a double team on Okan. Togo then pulls the hair while Sho hits a big kick. Big kicks, multiple. So Ospreay has to come in and break up the pin after all these shenanigans. Evil now tags in and throws a t-shirt into the face of Henare, who's on the apron. I'm pretty sure they're in the same block, but I'm not confident enough to say they are for sure. Henare, I wish it was just having the 4 blocks makes it so hard to remember who's in what, especially at the beginning here. Once we get into it, we'll remember who's fought who, and then we can piece it together from there. But in the past, it was either they're in this one or the other one, but now it's this one, that one, the other one, or that last one. You know what I'm saying? So it's tough. And even Kevin Kelly got mixed up in the earlier on. I didn't note it, but he got mixed up about he's like, oh, they are in the same block after talking about how, oh, they're not in the same block, blah, 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 blah. And then, oh, yeah, they actually are. They are. Never mind. Disregard everything I said in the last minute. So even Kevin Kelly's having trouble keeping track. I guess we'll just get used to it eventually, and maybe if it's the same next year, we'll already be used to it. But change is kind of hard to get over sometimes. But anyway, Evil had tagged in and threw a t-shirt, remember, in Hanare's face, who was on the apron. This gets Henare mad, but the referee keeps him out of the ring. Okan then counters a move to tag in Henare, and Togo runs in because he knows that Henare is going to be mad, but Togo just gets taken out right away. Henare then takes out both Sho and Yujiro, who are still on the apron, and then destroys Evil with some big strikes and then a Samoan drop at the end. The crowd is behind Henare here, who almost gets the Ultima full Nelson on, but Evil grabs the referee to get out of it. Yujiro then distracts Henare, and all of House of Torture rush the ring. And they knock United Empire off the apron, the other 3 guys, and then quadruple team Henare until Evil finishes it off with a fisherman's buster. Henare is able to kick out of this, but then Togo goes to get his weapon and puts it around the throat of Henare. Henare is able to get his fingers to block it, and then everyone rushes the ring. They all hit big moves in succession until Jeff Cobb comes in. Jeff has Dick Togo and Sho scared. Cobb tells them to apologize. They say no and rush Cobb. So Cobb hits a suplex at the same time onto both Togo and Sho. That was pretty cool there. Cobb then throws Togo into the arms of Henare, who smoothly transitions it into a Ultima full Nelson for the win. So your winners by submission are United Empire. Henare keeps the hold on for a little while, and on the 27th, Yujiro will be taking on Ospreay. So this was kind of a disappointing match. Yes, it was the normal, and I knew going in it was going to be the normal House of Torture heel tactics that nobody really finds enjoyment from watching. But I was thinking it might be a showcase for United Empire, but that is not the case. This was a complete House of Torture showcase to get heat for whatever reason. So Okan says that they will win all the blocks, or all the blocks they're in. I think 2 of them are in the same one. I'm not. Again, it's so hard to keep track of this stuff, but we'll get it down eventually. And then Okan says that we will dominate G1. So pretty good stuff. I wish I could have been more of a showcase about showing off United Empire and the good teamwork they have, and how they're all 4 individually great, but they also have great teamwork. But I guess it's just another showcase of cheating, whatever. So next match is Jado and Tama versus their former teammates Bullet Club, Chase Owens, and Jay White. So here we go. Now the G1 intensity is about to heat up a little bit, even though we're still in the prelims. So Jay White comes out to Chase Owens's music, which I guess is the new Bullet Club music, although I still wish um, I only considered the original Bullet Club music to be Bullet Club music. But what a good leader here by Jay White, not choosing to come out to his own music here, letting Chase Owens use his. So they will meet later in B block, and also in B block in this match is Tama Tonga, who fights Jay on the last night of the B blocks, and then Tama Tonga fights Chase in their first match. So a lot of storylines here. Jado out with his new Gorillas of Destiny teammate Tama Tonga. I love that this is this is the way they got Jado to be a good guy for the first time. He didn't want to see his friends Gorilla of Destiny have to fight the Bullet Club alone, and Gato, he had already learned not to trust Gato before this even happened. So Jado wanted nothing to do with that, and they come out with matching gear. and Chase and Jay joke around on the outside of the ring with Gato. They take their sweet time getting in the ring. Of course, Tama Tonga wants to tear their heads off. So eventually, Owens is going to start the match with Tama and gains control. Owens does with a cheap shot. Sorry, I lost my spot. I hate when that happens. So I'm just gonna start out. Eventually, Owens starts the match with Tama Tonga with a cheap shot, but Tama fires up and hits a big flurry to start the match strong. Tama could win this entire G1. It's gonna come down to that Tama Tonga versus Jay White match at the very end, and whoever wins that match basically is gonna win the block. So I'm not gonna not there's I mean, it's almost 50-50 that Tama or Jay White wins the block in my mind. So Tama then takes back control on Owens and tags in Jado. Jado then hits a running forearm and then gets hit from behind by Jay. So Owens then takes control off of this and tags in Jay White. Jay then rakes the eyes of Jado and then wears him out across the ropes as Gato two sweeps Jay right in the face of Jado. Chase then tags in and they work over the leg of Jado. Jado. Jado's now in trouble as Owens hits the Garvin stomps and a boot rake across the face. Jay now tags in, wears down Jado even more with a chin lock. Jado tries to punch out, but Jay stays in control and tags in Chase. Chase now talks trash, and the crowd slightly rallies behind the longtime heel Jado. Then they get louder. So seemingly in real time, they forgave Jado. They weren't really into rallying behind him, but then they did. They were like, well, Jado's a good guy now, and he wants to help fight against the Bullet Club. I guess we'll rally him on, kind of thing. So that was kind of interesting to see in real time. Jado then starts to fight back, but Jay comes in to stop that. Tama runs in now and hits both men with corner splashes and then a massive suplex on Jay, who landed on his head. So that was a really good one. A little flurry there. Jay blocks a stun gun attempt from Tama, but then the action spills outside of the ring. Jay then sends Tama into the barricade super hard while Jado's in the ring tuning up the band for Sweet Chin Music of all things. But Chase counters this and hits the C trigger knee to the face of Jado for the 1-2-3. Your winners by pinfall are Bullet Club. Good match as far as storytelling. Jay is the king of storytelling matches right now. So if Bryan Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr. is the dream match for technicians, I think right now Jay White versus CM Punk is the dream match when it comes to storytellers in the ring. So that would be an amazing match to watch. Bullet Club get out of harm's way before Tama can get up from that hard barricade shot. They don't want anything to do with the angry Tongan. So we've got a 6-man tag match next. Well, not to just breeze by that one. That was a really important. I kind of explained it though, how I feel like Tama Tonga and Jay White. It's going to come down to that. I feel like maybe, just maybe, Chase beats them both, and those are the only 2 wins that Chase Owens gets. Chase Owens might spring the upset on Tama Tonga and might surprise Jay on like maybe they were being friendly, or maybe Chase Owens says, I'll lay down for you, and then rolls them up for the 1-2-3. I could see Tama Tonga and Jay White coming into the last match, both having 1 loss, both being tied for the lead, and both having lost to Chase Owens of all things. So that's my prediction on that one. So we got a 6-man tag next, and I think this is the last one before G1 starts. So yes, so this is the last one before intermission, and then we've got our 4 G1 matches for the night. It's a 6-man tag. Chaos members Goto and Okada teaming up with Tanahashi to fight LIJ, Bushi, Sonata, and Naito. So last prelim match before we get to the G1 action. Bushi out again first with his own entrance music, even though David Finlay can't get his own entrance music. Last night it was the Vector Man entrance mask. Tonight's the Stardust entrance mask. Cold Skull Sonata out. He might be limping a little bit. I see a noticeable limp, I think, after that tough loss to Jay White last night. Naito out last, and he's got a great jacket on. Bushi leads them to the ring. Naito the GOAT flanking them. So Naito will be main eventing the next night of G1, our next time that they're on the air, which is Wednesday night against Goto. And Goto will be in this tag match tonight, and they were in the match last night as well. 2 old rivals here. So Okada and Tanahashi, also rivals of Naito in this match, so this is a pretty big match here. Goto then gets his own music, so it doesn't look weird when Tanahashi got his own played, but Goto didn't on the same team. So all 6 men get to come out to their own music. Which is I'm not complaining about that because Goto has some top 5 music in the world. I love hearing that Goto music. One of the best, alongside Naito, who we just heard music played just before that, but neither of them can touch Kojima's music, the GOAT of all music, Kojima. So Goto gets his whole introduction all the way to the ring and stuff before Go Ace hits. Tanahashi now out. 2 people in this match having suffered tough losses last night, Tanahashi and Sanada. So Tanahashi's still confident. He was saying in his backstage comments that he's still confident that he's going to win the entire G1, let alone the block, even after that early loss. So don't forget, it's only 6 matches this year. 2 losses might almost be impossible to come back from, and 3 is a given that you're not going to win your block. But 5 straight wins isn't out of the question. That's all he would need to go 5-1 and maybe win the block. C block is the toughest block, so it's going to be tough, but also there's going to be people losing. So if any block has somebody with 3 losses, it will be in C block, where there's a ton of really good competition. But still, I'm thinking that 3 is too much to come back from, and 2 is probably going to be what it is in for C block. So Naito and Tanahashi will meet in that block later in G1. Tanahashi is also in C block with his partner tonight, Goto. So all 3 of them in C block. Zack Sabre Jr. and Kenta, which fight later tonight, are also in that C block. That's how deadly it is. So Naito takes his time disrobing. Tanahashi does his routine as well. LIJ fist bump, and the crowd cheers loudly. So Naito then asks he wants Goto. So Goto pushes Tanahashi and Okada aside. And the 2 that main event Wednesday night will be starting this match. So they lock up. No clean break from Naito. Naito then attacks the arm that on Goto that he started working on yesterday. Remember, Naito kind of banged the back of his head coming out of that first match last night, and Goto got his arm worked over a lot. So Naito even went up to Goto after the match and put an ice bag on the arm mockingly, making Goto mad. So yeah, Naito attacks that arm. Then Goto hits a back elbow, but his arm hurt on that offensive move. So really showing that his arm's hurting here. Naito then quickens the pace, but Goto's able to keep up with him. And Naito rolls to evade, lays down, and does the fist pump or the fist pose. So Naito rolls right out of the ring, comes back in, then clapping to get the crowd clapping along, and Naito just tags out. So that was pretty funny. Sanada in now. Goto also tags out to Okada. 2 guys that had grueling matches are now in. Grueling matches last night are now in. Sanada rushes in to Okada for the Paradise Lock, but Okada blocks it, then hits a shoulder tackle, then strikes the bicep pose. Sanada then evades a slingshot senton, and all of LIJ rush in to take out Okada. Bushi now tags in, and Naito attacks Goto on the outside, trying to get the arm again, sending Goto arm first into the barricade. Bushi now cheats to keep control on Okada because you don't want Bushi doing moves on Okada, you see. And Okada fires up, hits the flapjack on Bushi. Tanahashi now tags in. Sanada comes in to help, but Tanahashi stops him from coming in with a dragon screw leg whip over the middle rope. Tanahashi then yells, "Yes!" And they hits a middle rope somersault senton that we've been seeing in every match from Tanahashi. That always looks good though. So Goto versus Tanahashi is on August 10th. So pretty deep, maybe one of their second to last match or whatever. Again, one of the hardest groups or one of the hardest blocks. So at this point, everyone in the match rushes in. Goto catches a flying forearm from Naito, but is able to hit the Ushigoroshi. So Tanahashi then hits a sling blade on Bushi, then goes up to the top rope and hits successfully the high fly flow for the 1-2-3. Your winners by pinfall are Chaos and Hiroshi Tanahashi. So they celebrate in the ring. Not as much damage on Goto's arm as there was last night for sure, but there was a little bit. And Naito is holding the back of his head still after this match. So that's an injury that happened last night as well. Something to keep an eye on as we go into their main event match on Wednesday. So they will have 3 days to recover. before then. Naito tips his cap to the camera with a cheeky smile. And he's got Bushi's entrance mask again on the so last night he did all his backstage comments with the Bushi Vector Man mask over the top of his head like a cap, which was funny. So come back to the channel later today for all the backstage comments. I'll read them out in English if you're not a big fan of reading subtitles. So now it's time for intermission, and all we've got left is the 4 G1 matches, one from each block. At least I'm pretty sure that's how we've been doing it at the start here. Let me just scroll down. Yeah, so we've got one from each block, just like last night. And let me just get a quick drink since we're at the intermission. But some pretty good matches here. We've got two hometown guys having matches in G1 tonight. So here we go. So the first of the hometown guys is Tai Chi, and he's going to be taking on an old rival Tomohiro Ishii. And here comes the moment of truth, because Tai Chi's music hits. And will Miho Abe join Tai Chi for G1? And the answer is yes. So she comes out looking amazing as usual. Let's see if Tai Chi got his microphone fixed from last night, and he does. So Tai Chi is in his hometown. He's got his best outfit on. Miho Abe has catgirl ears and a plushie of Tai Chi sitting on her shoulder. She dances around the ring as Tai Chi sings in front of his adoring fans. But then the air raid alarms and a dog growl ruins their good fun as Tomohiro Ishii comes out. He even called Tai Chi yesterday in the backstage comments by his real name, Ishikari, something he does again mid-match. So, shoot name, as Kevin called it on commentary. Anyway, this is going to be a good one. Definitely, we've got potential for 3 great G1 matches tonight. One of which has a match of the year candidate. Potential in Zack versus Kenta. Unfortunately, I'm not going to put it up there even in the top 5 through the 7 months we've had so far this year. Not even 7, but still a pretty good match. But Miho Abe is showing that she's fearful about what might happen. We got 2 big hitters here, especially in Ishii, who really has history with Tai Chi. So Miho Abe is trembling, and Ishii gets in Tai Chi's face before the bell even rings. Tai Chi hasn't gotten his ring jacket or anything off yet, and Ishii says, "I'm going to destroy you," and slaps the face of Tai Chi, who says, "I'm not here to play around." So Tai Chi isn't phased at all by this. He just slowly disrobes, and a collar and elbow starts the match. So there's a lot of story in this one. Tai Chi then hits a huge palm strike that nearly knocks Ishii unconscious at the very beginning of this match. Ishii was rolling around on the ground, not even able to get back up. He kept trying to get back up and couldn't. Tai Chi's now playing around with him until that makes Ishii mad, who springs up and hits a massive forearm. So we've just started the match. Each has a massive strike on the other, and they're both hurting from it. And we just started. So long history here, which has led up to them having basically the exact opposite personalities. If you could have complete opposite people in New Japan Pro Wrestling, it would be Tai Chi and Ishii for sure, in my opinion. So Ishii then hits a chop as Tai Chi's having trouble getting back up. Hard hitting match so far. Miho Abe is scared on the outside. The referee makes Ishii back off so we can check up on Tai Chi. And again, Ishii refers to Tai Chi as his real name, Ishikari. So Ishii then is now playing around with Tai Chi right back like Tai Chi was earlier, but Ishii takes him down with a goozle trip after Tai Chi fired up off of that. So good Ishii maintaining control there. Tai Chi then hits a Kamagori kick, one of many in this match, to the front and the back of Ishii's head. So 2 Kamagori kicks right in a row by Tai Chi. Tai Chi then slaps his own face to kind of dust the cobwebs off, shake off all that big strike from earlier. So then he wears out Ishii with some more kicks. Tai Chi rips his pants off with zero fanfare and just throws him, chucks him in the face of Ishii. This fires up Ishii as we've now reached the 5-minute mark. Ishii chops to the throat, then holds his own arm in pain. So Ishii is having he has a history of shoulder problems, but selling the shoulder here in that he's in pain already. So Tai Chi then hits some big kicks to take back control. Ishii blocks a back suplex with one of his own. Ishii then follows up with a corner lariat that puts Tai Chi up on the top rope. The crowd's rallying behind the hometown guy Tai Chi here. Ishii hits a deadlift, delayed superplex anyway. That looked great. Miho Abe is finally pounding on the mat, fights her fear because she knows that she needs to rally the crowd behind her man. A striking exchange is now won by Tai Chi, who hits a huge forearm. So all that worked. Miho Abe is now yelling at Tai Chi to get back up, who he went and rested after the big hit. Both men get up at the same time, and Tai Chi wins another striking exchange, this time with the Kamigori kick. And Tai Chi then hits a last ride power bomb with a high angle stick pin, and it doesn't work. Ishii is able to kick out as we now have reached the 10-minute mark. So remember, all G1 matches are 30-minute time limits, and if it's tied after, if it's a draw, each person gets 1 point. A win gets you 2. Tai Chi then counters and hits a back suplex for a 2 count. Miho Abe gets the crowd to get even louder. Tai Chi then lines up for a big move, but Ishii out of nowhere hits a drop kick. That looked great. Ishii's now hulking up, major hulk up here, but he eats a drop kick from Tai Chi right back. Tai Chi then no-sells a German suplex to hit a lariat, and Ishii kicks out at 1. So Tai Chi then hits a massive bomber strike. The crowd's loving it. Tai Chi then gets wrist control and hits a huge back suplex for a 2 count. Tai Chi gains wrist control again, but Ishii blocks a black Mephisto, and a flurry of counters and a big strikes have Tai Chi now down. So Ishii then hits a sliding lariat and traps the leg at the same time. I thought maybe that could have been it, but Tai Chi's just barely able to kick out. Tai Chi blocks a brainbuster, which would have spelled the end, to hit another Kamigori kick. Tai Chi then hits a massive elbow strike and hits Ishii with the Black Mephisto for the 1-2-3. The winner by pinfall is the hometown hero Tai Chi. Miho Abe is crying with joy and gets the crowd to clap louder. Ishii is holding onto his shoulder, something we've seen Ishii do for many years. So going forward, Ishii has a banged up shoulder. They cut Tai Chi's music off because he couldn't even get up. So once Ishii rolls out of the ring, Tai Chi's able to get up. They do hit the music again so Tai Chi can celebrate in front of his hometown. But then Tai Chi just drops to a knee. This one really got him. But Tai Chi came out with the win. So these backstage comments are going to be interesting. Again, if you're not a fan of reading all the subtitles, just come watch the channel. I'm going to kind of act out, not really like cheesily, but I'll be reading what they say. So Ishii's next match is against Jay White, which is going to be another tough one. Ishii might go 0-2, where you can't possibly win if you have 3 losses. So Tai Chi's next match against Sonata. All 4 of those men I just mentioned have already had their first match. So between those 4 men, Tai Chi and Jay White are the ones that are atop of the leaderboard in B block. So pretty good stuff there. So here we go. The only one of the 4 matches out of the G1 tonight that doesn't have any potential to be great, and we all but we don't know who's going to win. So it is Toru Yano versus Jonah, and the reason we don't know who's going to win is you never ever know which matches Yano's going to sneak away with the 2 points. It could be any match. So we don't know who's going to win here. Jonah's out first, and I didn't see Bad Tito, but we do end up seeing Bad Tito later on, who Jonah, TMDK teammate with. They tag teamed last night in the preliminaries. So Jonah tagged last night, like I said, against Yano and Young Lion Oiwa. And Yano comes out scared, but not scared enough to shill his DVD, of course. So Yano says hi to Tenzan, who's over on commentary. Tenzan's doing that for the 2nd straight night. Once Yano then gets in the ring, he's scared, and he looks over at Jonah scared. Yano doesn't let the referee frisk him fully, which is a mistake there. Yano holds on to the ropes as the bell rings to make the ref break anything that might happen. So Yano then chants friendship in Japanese while gifting a t-shirt to Jonah. Jonah attacks, but Yano counters it with a t-shirt attack and then an eye rake. But Jonah no-sells it and hits a shoulder tackle. Jonah goes into the tights of Yano and pulls out a couple weapons. So Jonah was on to Yano. He must have a subscription in the New Japan World. So Yano then hits a weak-looking slap, and this is when I don't like this kind of stuff right there. That slap took me out of not only this match, it kind of ruined the next match, which was the match I was actually looking forward to. So you might think that that was nothing, and Yano does this kind of shtick all the time, but Yano was okay. He's scared. He's trying. You can explain most of Yano's actions in his matches by he's trying to trick the guy, and okay, you could even say that he's trying to get the guy mad for maybe he can get a DQ, but there's almost never DQs in New Japan, so that one's kind of ridiculous. So like I said, Yano had a couple cheating attacks to gain advantage. Then Yano's able to dodge an attack and then just lightly slaps the back of the head. That completely took me out of this match and the next match. It's just ridiculous. Like, I get that you're trying to be gimmicky and all that kind of stuff, but you just got a nice counter and you're not going to capitalize on it. Instead, just paintbrushing the back of the head. That for you guys, that might have been nothing. For me, it even bled into the next match with how much that took me out of the match, because it is a reminder that what you are watching is fake. That's the one thing we all know, that this is a predetermined thing. And if you want to call it fake, then yeah, it's fake. But when we're watching it and you go into each show, you know it's fake at the beginning and you just watch it for what it is. You get transported into this little world where, yeah, you try and break it down, especially me. I'm trying to do a review and break every little thing down. But it's not like I haven't been having these thoughts in the 30 years I've been watching, especially as I've been an adult, where if you take me completely out of it by reminding me that it's fake, it's hard for me to get back in that same show and just enjoy it as if this was this real world that we're transported in. John Cena is the epitome of the word fake, and he's the reason that I had to stop watching WWE and all that kind of stuff. I'm back watching them now. It's not great, but at least John Cena with a big old capital letter F, fake, isn't there to muck up everything like he used to. And then here I am, Yano over here, big G1. We got 3 matches. I knew going in that his match, what I wasn't looking forward to, and in hindsight, I probably should have just skipped it, or maybe in future Yano matches I'll watch it last. But I'm trying to do a review for you guys here as well. So this whole thing with Yano took me out of the rest of the show. I was kind of able to get back in the main event, but unfortunately, my rating and my thoughts for Kenta versus Zack Sabre Jr. is not going to be as good because of this match with Yano. And somebody like an Uncle Dave might just be skipping this Yano match altogether and watching the Zack Sabre Jr. match in isolation. But pro wrestling doesn't exist in this vacuum. A lot of Uncle Dave's ratings are are in a vacuum, and I don't think that's how wrestling should be rated. I think everything that happens on the card previous should affect your rating going forward in that match. And sure, you can say you can have a match in isolation, but it would have to be a one match card, that would be the only way. So, and let's get back to this Yano match. I'll get off my soapbox, but it just really irked me, and it took me out, and it reminded me. Yano just reminds you that what you're watching is fake, and a lot of his shtick can be funny, and I'm not one of those guys like I don't want any fun in my matches. Like, I like a lot of the stuff that Bullet Club does, like the ELPs. He's pretty funny, but this whole Yano shtick is just too much. And he's also yelling so much with these quiet crowds. It's not enjoyable at all. It's like nails on a chalkboard to watch a Yano match, and it's really, really, really gotten old after so many Yano matches that we've watched. So please ship him the DDT. I never want to watch a Yano match again. I don't even know where we were, but eventually Yano gets to the ropes. Jonah stays on the attack with a back elbow. That fake slap to the back completely took my care out of the way from this match. We're now at the 5-minute mark, and it felt like 20 minutes had passed because it was so bad. So Yano then grabs the referee to block another move, and Yano dodges a senton attempt. Yano then takes the turnbuckle off but a corner splash from behind sends Yano chest first into the exposed turnbuckle, but somehow Yano kicks out of this. Yano fights back, and then Jonah keeps control with a rolling shoulder tackle on the seated Yano. That looked amazing from Jonah. Yano then hits a Manhattan drop and a rope assisted springboard spring off the rope into a belly to belly suplex type thing. That move looked good from Yano. The crowd loves it. That's the move he should have hit instead of the stupid paintbrush on the back when he dodged the big move in the beginning. So Jonah then cuts the comeback short, hits a massive senton, the one he was looking for earlier and missed. But somehow Yano again kicks out of this, so I don't understand it. So Jonah goes to the top rope, but Yano rolls out of the ring far, far away. Jonah goes after Yano and sends him into the barricade. Super slow prodding match, sprinkled with a ton of fake with a capital F. The referee's up to 15 on his count. Just kind of both thought I want this match over with. Yano hits a low blow, and it is not a disqualification. The referee couldn't have possibly been he couldn't have possibly not seen it. I guess their excuse was Yano had thrown Bad Dude Tito, who was out there the second Jonah, and he put Bad Dude Tito in front of Jonah and then hit a blow on both men at the same time. So I guess you could say that the referee only saw the low blow on Bad Dude Tito and then counted out. So I guess that was the excuse, but still, with all the other fake with a capital F stuff, if he had just hit a superplex or a back suplex on that instead of the paintbrush and then done all the other stuff and then gotten this DQ in, maybe I could have bought into it. But you've already taken me out of the match. You've already reminded me that what I'm watching is fake and not a real sport. So screw you, Yano. For real. So this gets Yano the count out win. He wins. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Get this crap off of my TV and off of G1. Ship Yano the DDT with the rest of the goofs. That was terrible. And but at least we've got a match with potential to be match of the year next. So unfortunately, things within this match that I could have overlooked if I wasn't already reminded that what I'm watching is fake in the match before, I could have overlooked them. But no, things that Kenta and Zach were doing within this match also reminded me fake because I've already been taken out of the freaking thing. So thank you, Yano. Thank you for that. Thanks a lot for ruining this next match. So the best promos in New Japan have been Kenta lately. Definitely watch all his backstage comments. And if you're not like I said, if you're not a fan of reading subtitles, just come subscribe to my channel. I've been doing the backstage comments in English. I've been like acting them out kind of. So anyway, definite Naito vibes from Kenta with his new character. Turned up maybe even a little bit more. We're told that Kenta is 3-1 against Zach. They met over 10 years ago in Europe. Kenta helped Zach get noticed by Noah, and Kenta said yesterday that he still thinks of Zack Sabre Jr. as that young little boy he met 10 years ago. So let's see if Kenta is going to be underestimating the skills that Zach's gained in that last 10 years. And I would say after watching the match, he probably did. So that was the story of the match for sure. Zack Sabre Jr. comes out looking confident. Zach was all upset that it's all the same people he normally wrestles, even though he's, as he said, we've got 28 blokes and 4 blocks, and I still got to wrestle all the same dickheads. But the only one he was looking forward to is Kenta. So that's the first match for both of them here in C block, the hardest block there is. So this is a big, important match. We know that Henare is the leader after one night, and I doubt that'll last long. I was going to predict Henare to win a 4. If we were going to go to 4 blocks, I thought, oh, maybe Henare could win one. Maybe he'll be in a block with like, people he could beat. But no, he ends up getting the hardest block. So I completely predicted that Henare would beat Tanahashi, but Henare probably is only going to get one other win, maybe 2. And like we've already established, if you're 3-3, you're not getting through. Even in this tough group, I think it's going to be maybe a 2 or 3 person tie, where then we'll get into those convoluted tiebreakers later. But I think it could be a 3 person tie with 2 losses, but I don't think it's going to be one with 3 losses. But you never know. So we'll just have to watch and wait and see. So Zach, like I said, comes out looking confident, and Kenta does not let Zach have a proper introduction. Kenta gets right in the face. They shove each other a bit, talk some trash. Zach says he's the senpai now, and the bell rings. So they continue to talk trash. They're not even fazed by the bell ringing. Zach then hits the first shot, and it's a bad looking forearm. So Kenta then slaps the face of Zach Zach, and then goes back and forth for a little while. Kenta is definitely beating Zach in the striking competition, so Zach strikes are weak, and Zach moves to kicks, which work a little bit better for Zach, but then Kenta's kicks were way harder too. So Zach catches a kick and tries to apply a submission, but Kenta saw it coming. So great stuff here. Kenta, the better striker, Zach, the better technical submission guy, and Kenta trying to outsmart Zach, but Zach was too smart for it. Kenta then sends Zach out of the ring and hard into the barricades. So Kenta either wants to keep this a brawl or like a kickboxing match. So he doesn't want any kind of grappling, which he will probably lose to Zach. So either a brawl or a kickboxing match is what Kenta wants. Zach then gets thrown into the barricade for a while. As you could hear a pin drop, it's so silent in the arena. Red Shoes then finally starts a count, but then just stops out of nowhere. So good old Red Shoes. Kenta then hits big kicks to the chest of Zach, really big kicks. Zach's gonna eat a lot of those kicks to his chest tonight. The referee now starts the count again. Seemingly there was no reason for him to stop, and seemingly no reason for him to start again. It's just on a whim, which isn't, again, kind of tells you what you're watching is fake. Have you ever seen in sports like a referee just stop doing something and then lazily start doing it again? I know this is like what always happens with Red Shoes, so we should expect it, but it doesn't make it any less ridiculous. So um Kenta hits a few more of the kicks. Remember, the chest of Zack Sabre Jr. definitely lit up in this match. The crowd's clapping big time. The pace now quickens when they get back in the ring, but Kenta cuts off the comeback with more kicks to the chest and has Sabre Jr. in trouble. Kenta then starts playing around with Zack, talking trash. This fires up Zack, who then applies a leg bar over the ropes. Red Shoes doesn't count the 5 until about 20 seconds have passed. So again, Red Shoes is just ridiculous with his interpretation of the rules. Last time I checked, it's not at the referee's discretion how you apply the rules to a match. You have to go by the rule book. So I hate that kind of stuff where he just has his own rules. Red Shoes, then the action then spills out of the ring. Zach keeps the knee bar on. Remember, there was a knee bar applied, and uses the barricade now to also attack the ankle while the knee bar's in. Zach now is playing around with Kenta back. So they've been both playing around with each other, which again, it wouldn't be that bad if you just didn't remind me that what I'm watching is fake in the previous match. And Zach drops a knee on the leg. So that looked pretty vicious. Kenta's leg has definitely gotten pretty beaten up by this point. Zach then goes into the ring and the ref starts a 10 count. Zach talks some more trash and Kenta takes his time to get in. Kenta talks trash once he gets in instead of being ready to fight. So that again takes me out and reminds me what I'm watching is fake. And Zach just goes back to work on Kenta's leg. So Zach then applies a bow and arrow. And this works not only to the leg, but for the back and neck as well. Kenta gets to the ropes to break the hold. Zach then goes back to playing with Kenta, so too much playing around in this match after a Yano match that already took us out of it. Zach then lets Kenta back up so they can start a striking exchange. Again, something I probably could have overlooked, but just all this, letting him do that. Let's do that, and then let's do that, and then I'm just gonna paintbrush you a little bit here, and usually I know that that's kind of stuff we get all the time, but again, Yano just ruins everything. Kenta, I'll stop talking about Yano. I think I mentioned him again at the end of this match in my notes, but I'll stop it in case you're just like, stop talking about him. But anyway, Kenta then takes Zach down with his grappling, but Kenta tells Zach to kick him in the back, so he does. So we start a kick in the back exchange, and Kenta's kicks were way harder. So Kenta wants to try it again, but of course, Zach is too smart for that and cranks the neck twice instead. Zach then goes to joint manipulation on the arm, wrist, and fingers of Kenta. Kenta's now holding his shoulder, which has a history of shoulder surgeries. Thank you for that, Madcap Moss. So anyway, Zach then goes to work on the shoulder a little bit more. Kenta tries to strike his way out of the situation, but Zach was too good for that. Zach lets the hold go and charges in, but that was a mistake. Kenta's able to counter with a snap power slam. Pretty good match here. Kenta then takes the turnbuckle pad off and Irish whips Zach into the exposed turnbuckle back first. Kenta then hot shots Zach onto the top rope, and hits a top rope lariat on Zach. Kenta applies an STF now, and let's see how long it takes Zack to get out. Not long at all. He reaches for the ropes, so Kenta transitions to an arm hold. Kenta breaks the hold to go for some more strikes, but then Kenta made the mistake there. So Zack counters the strike into an arm bar, and Kenta counters this into a pinning attempt. So that was that little flurry right there was probably the best flurry of the night. Really good stuff here. I know I was kind of ragging on the match, but like I said, in a vacuum, this match is better than if you watch the whole event. And they quickly counter each other and hit big strikes on each other as well. Look great. It was so fast that I couldn't take notes. So after I just said it was the best flurry of the night, they had an even better flurry, which was awesome. So both men are now down after that flurry, but eventually get up after recovering, and they have a slow striking exchange now as both are wounded and winded. And best strike of the night now as Zack hits a European uppercut that looked nasty, but or not of the night, but best strike of the match. So Kenta then counters the next one into the green killer, and then Kenta notices that his strikes were getting harder, so stops the exchange. He noticed that Zack's strikes were getting harder. So Kenta hits his shotgun drop kicks into the corner, then a double stomp from the top rope, but Zack's able to kick out. Zack then hits another big palm strike, but Kenta answers with 5 big palm strikes of his own in return. Zack blocks a GTS attempt twice and then gets a rear naked on Kenta. Kenta gets off his back and Zack goes for the Cobra twist, then a full Nelson into the ankle lock. What we expect out of Zack Sabre Jr. doing all the quick submissions there. So Zack is able to keep Kenta in the middle of the ring. He's got the ankle lock applied, but Kenta gets out. Kenta then hits a massive knee to the face to a charging Zack. Zack is barely conscious off of that one. Kenta hits the Psycho knee, but Zack kicks out at 2. Another Psycho knee, and Kenta pulls Zack up himself after the 2 count. So we'll never know if the 3 was going to happen. Kenta hits another big kick and again pulls Zack up at 2. So again, we won't know if the 3 was going to happen. Massive slaps to Zack now until Zack counters one, first into an arm bar, then a knee bar. Then Kenta hits another massive palm strike. Zack is barely conscious, but Zack is able to apply the triangle choke and locks it in deep. This makes Kenta tap out immediately. It was locked in so deep. So Kenta is the first one up and starts complaining that he didn't tap out to the referee, but he definitely did as soon as it was locked in deep. So personally, I don't think Kenta would have got the 3 count on those 2 times he pulled Zack Sabre up. But at the end of the day, it is a mistake to not to make the pin instead of going on the attack, unless the goal of the pinfall was the lock of the submission hold, but that's not what happened. So a little weird though. Kenta cost himself this match by being too confident over someone that he admittedly still thinks Kenta said yesterday he still thinks of Zack Sabre Jr. as that same little boy. But in that 10-year span, Zack Sabre Jr. has become the best technical wrestler in the world. Maybe 1A and 1B with Bryan Danielson. So, like I said, when Uncle Dave watches this, he's going to rate this higher than I did. But Uncle Dave probably didn't watch the Yano match just before this, and probably Uncle Dave didn't watch any of the preliminary tag matches. So, wrestling doesn't happen in a vacuum unless it's a 1-match event, which almost never happens. So all that playing around with Zack and Kenta did to each other kind of brought it down. The word fake was coming into this match again, thanks to Yano. And so thank you for that, Yano. He was just out there to remind us that wrestling's fake. And then we had a really big match after that we were all looking forward to. But we had Yano come out there and announce to the world that everything you're watching right now is fake. So ridiculous. So just the illusion was break. It was still a good match though. I can't wait to see Kenta's backstage comments. All his backstage comments have been the best in the company right now. So also Henare's I don't know why I said Henare, but Kenta's G1 isn't over. C Block is so tough that nobody is going to go undefeated, and the probably will be 2 loss for the winner of C Block. So it's time for the main event. Shingo in his hometown against newly healed new member of Bullet Club, Juice Robinson. Let me get a drink real quick. So Juice comes out and he kind of sounds like a geek when he tries to act tough on the microphone. Not a good look there. And I hope Shingo destroys him, but spoiler alert, that might not happen. So let me just go. I apologize. I have to go to the bathroom real quick. I knew I shouldn't have opened that beer. But I'll be right back, and then we'll talk about the main event. It's just too sweet. All right, apologies again. Oh boy, I hate when that happens. All right, it's main event time. Maybe that little bit of break from talking will clear my mind from those negative thoughts that Yano gave me, and we can have a nice time here in the main event. So, like I said, Juice was kind of sounding a little geeky on his way out, trying to act tough on the microphone and stuff. So I was definitely rooting for the hometown guy Shingo, who comes out next. Juice attacks him before the bell even rings, and I wish the crowd could speak because they would be booing big time right now and throughout this entire match, pretty much. Not the entire match, but they would be cheering and then booing, and that would have been a lot better. But we're starting to get not any time in G1, but we will have the crowd ban the ban from the crowd talking will be lifted in a couple shows in September. Of course, it's going to have to be lower capacity, but they're going to have everybody in their own little sections depending on which stable in New Japan is their favorite. So that'll be pretty cool. Of course, the LIJ ones are gonna be full of women. You know that. All right, so we start with a striking exchange, but it's outside of the ring. So again, it's Shingo versus Juice in the main event, Shingo's hometown, G1 night 2, and the first match for both guys. So pretty important stuff here. Last night, Shingo said it was really important to him to win this match so we can get on the microphone and talk at the end. And we'll see if that can happen. So Juice keeps control. Remember, he had a sneak attack at the beginning, and then they had an exchange on the outside. But Juice keeps control, sending Shingo into the barricade. A double reversal sends Shingo again into the barricade. Shingo then fires up. He's all fired up now. Goes on the attack. Big claps from the crowd for this. They're back in the ring now. Shingo hits a shoulder tackle, then shakes off the damage from the barricade, getting the blood flowing in his body again. So Shingo looking to recover a little bit. Shingo then claps the ears of Juice and hits some rapid elbows. Juice rolls out of the ring after about 2 of them. Shingo catches Juice on the apron, however, and then they block each other once each. Shingo then hits rapid elbows to knock Juice off the apron, but Juice lands on his feet, pulls down Shingo from his legs, and throws him into the barricade yet again. Then crotches Shingo on the barricade and hits him with a lariat to knock him off. So Juice now wants to count out victory. Shingo's hometown crowd claps for Shingo to get back up, and Shingo is in at 17. But Juice is on Shingo right away after that when he rolls in the ring with more strikes. Shingo fires up again as we hit the 5-minute mark. And we get chop the crap out of each other's chest now. They're just laying in some big chops. Then they have a boxing match that Juice wins, showing he's got better punches. Shingo then blocks a pulp friction, but Juice then hits a nice leg lariat instead. Shingo fires up again after more strikes, and then a massive snap suplex with Juice landing high on his head and shoulders. The crowd gets super loud with their clapping for Shingo on that one. Shingo then hits a scoop slam and a nasty looking senton for a 2 count. Shingo hits multiple punches in the DDT and then a nasty suplex again. Shingo is so good. Shingo's really enjoying himself here in his hometown. So Shingo then hits some hard elbows, and Juice covers up and rolls away Jay White style, as the announcers note. So I had forgotten that Jay White and Juice were young lions together. They bring that up as well. I never really thought of Juice as a young lion as I did with. I obviously thought Jay White was a young lion, but they did train together at the Noge dojo, so there is that. And now they're friends and teammates again. Juice controls. Juice gains control off of this tactic. It was the ro- rolling away and stuff. This and then sets Shingo up on the top rope. They exchange headbutts while up there, and Juice hits a superplex. It might even have been deadlift, so that was pretty good for Juice's size here. Shingo's able to kick out of the superplex at 2. Then Shingo blocks another pulp friction, and Juice blocks a suplex to hit a nice gut buster. So Juice having a good match here. Shingo counters another pulp friction again and slams Juice face first into the mat, which I don't know what kind of move that was, but it looked pretty good. Shingo's up first now and hits a wheelbarrow suplex, deadlifting Juice from the floor to a suplex position. Then a sliding lariat for Shingo gets him a 2 count. Now 15 minutes have passed, so we're halfway through the time limit. Juice blocks a made in Japan attempt from Shingo. Then Juice rolls Shingo up and has the tights or the belt grabs so that Red Shoes sees it and stops the count. So Juice is super mad at Red Shoes for this, and shoves and like punches Red Shoes in the gut, but Red Shoes never disqualifies people, so no DQ there. Shingo then takes control while Juice was distracted with the ref. Juice blocks another move and tries to do a spear from the apron, which is where he was standing on the apron, but Shingo catches this into the Revolution. Shingo then hits the bomber lariat for a 2 count. I thought that might have been it. Shingo got all of that one. The crowd's now clapping loudly for Shingo to finish Juice. Juice blocks a blast of the dragon attempt, or a last of the dragon, I think. And then Shingo starts with a striking exchange again. Shingo wins this with big headbutts to the exposed forehead. No finger headbutts there. So Juice then hits a left-hand punch, the same one that knocked Taka out last night to get the win in the preliminary matches. And then Juice hits right after that left-hand punch, the pulp friction. But Juice was too beat up to make a quick cover, so this allows Shingo to eventually kick out at 2. Good selling on that, great selling on that punch last night by Taka, which then heightened the drama tonight when Juice hit that same punch. So good job by Taka doing his job very well last night. So they exchanged lariats again, and both men are spent at this point, so there's not a lot of power behind them. And this probably will not go the 30 minutes. We're probably around the 18-19 at this moment. A big flurry of strikes now. It might be the last chance or the last little bit of energy both men have left. And this exchange is won by Shingo, but Juice uses Red Shoes as a shield and then hits the big left-hand punch 2 more times. Shingo's now woozy, somehow still on his feet, but can barely stay conscious. Juice hits the pulp friction again. The crowd is silently livid as the referee counts 1, 2, 3. Your winner by pinfall is Juice Robinson. Wow, big time there. All Shingo wanted out of this was to talk to his crowd with the microphone at the end, and Shingo is denied. So Juice Robinson starts strong, getting 2 points in his G1 and preventing Shingo from grabbing the mic in his hometown. Shingo probably should still probably finish with more points than Juice at the end of this, but this one will hurt because Shingo didn't get to talk to his fans. So Juice is on his back while he has the microphone and talks on his back. He basically just lists off all the people in his block. Then Juice Robinson says that I am the IWGP US champion. 1 down, 5 to go. Nobody's touching me. Then Juice slowly gets to his feet and then simply tells the crowd, F you. and leave. So this crowd must be furious, but they can't make any noise with their mouths, which is ridiculous. Juice's next Juice's next G1 match, now that he has 2 points in the bank, is a huge match in Juice's career. It will be against former Finn Juice partner David Finlay, and that'll be on the 26th. So I'm definitely looking forward to that one. Hopefully they can even main event again. So maybe 2 main events for Juice on this tour of G1 stuff. So the announcers really put over how Jay White has helped Juice get better. Great main event there. I think it did deserve to be the main event over the Kenta Zack match, but maybe the Zack and Kent match wasn't allowed to be as good as they wanted it to be, so that they didn't overshadow the main event. But we'll never know. But I do know I'd never want to see Yano wrestle again. He not only ruined his own match, but the match I wanted to see the most. In the back now, Juice really quickly before leaving says, "You see this U.S. title? This belongs to me. Not Shingo, not Finlay, not I don't know. I must write this really hard, but not Tanahashi, not anyone. And as long as there's a breath in my body, it will never belong to Ospreay. The last time he was in the ring with me, I beat him 1, 2, 3. I'm the champion. Nobody else. Deal with it, female dogs." So pretty good event overall. First good first 2 nights. I'm not gonna let the whole Yano thing ruin my experience of the event overall. It maybe took away some of my enjoyment from Kenta versus Zack Sabre Jr., but kind of reliving the match a second time as I explained it here on the review kind of made me appreciate the Kenta Zack Sabre Jr. match a little more now that I'm not so furious about Yano. So anyway, I will be back later today whenever they release the backstage comments in English. I'll then act them out so that you don't have if you're not a fan of reading subtitles. So I'll be back here later today. I'll also, as soon as I'm done here, I'm gonna go watch New Japan Strong from this week. We will see the second half of the first round to crown the first ever New Japan Strong Tag Team Champions. So we'll end the first round tonight. You can check out my review from last week and my review I'll be posting in a couple hours here. So I'll see you guys. If you don't want to tune in for my Strong review a little bit later today, don't forget about the backstage comments I'll be putting up. If you're not interested in reading the subtitles, I'll talk them out here. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on Wednesday night as soon as G1 ends on Wednesday night. We got the big main event, Naito versus Goto. So I'll talk to you guys again soon. Have a great one, and peace.